All right, we are officially live. And I'm just going to, like I said, get started with the introduction of the show, and then we're going to get it rocking. So, what's going on, millionaires? You're listening to the Million Dollar Mind Podcast, episode 149, on embracing your abilities to manifest and create with Ms. Monica Clark Official. And before we get into today's guest and you learn a little bit more about Monica, I'm just super excited just to have this conversation because y'all know me. I love talking about how powerful our minds are. That's the reason why I named the show the Million Dollar Mind Podcast. How just amazing it is for us to create these opportunities and really attract these opportunities to do what we love. So that's why I'm super stoked to have this conversation. And the person that I'm having it with, I've been kind of following on Instagram and social media and just kind of seeing how she's moving and seeing that she is really like living the life and just living her best life, to say the least, right? So, of course, we have Monica Clark Official, who you're going to hear from in just a little bit. She is the owner of her own hair salon company, the hair company USA, which you're going to hear a little bit more about. But I do want to pass the mic off to Monica, and if you could just tell our guests a little bit more about you and how this journey began and what our guests can expect from today's episode, that'd be awesome.
Okay, so I am Monica Clark Official, and I've, I've, I am a business owner. I own a hair salon. We're located in Maryland, and I was also a stylist behind the chair, doing hair and running the business as well. And my desire was always to bring on stylists and not have to work so much, and be able to, because I was working every day and I didn't want to work every day, and I just was thinking, like, how can I get out of this trap? Like, I felt trapped. And I never really felt like I had a lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
So I was working, I was doing my clients, I was making money, but I never really had a lifestyle. And it was almost as if I started living vicariously through my clients, as I would do their hair for them to go out and have their lifestyle, but I didn't have a lifestyle of my own. So, in terms of manifestation, which we'll get to a little later, um, I used to always see myself not working every day, and I didn't know how it would happen, but I just kept seeing it. Like, I saw it one day, like, not like being able to retire. And I used to say, I'm going to retire at 40, I'm going to retire at 40, I'm going to retire at 40, not knowing that I would retire sooner than 40. But I just always just say, like, I'm going to retire at 40. And I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know the power of manifesting. But I was creating the life that I wanted. I was creating, even to the point of, I opened my first salon when I was 23 years old. And even that, I saw it first. I saw my salon busy. I saw my salon full of stylists. I saw my salon full of clients sitting in the chair. Like, I saw it. And I believe that everything happens twice. I believe once in your mind and then next in real life.
Mm-hmm.
So I always tell people, if you want something really bad, um, don't just push it away, or don't think that it's impossible, because if you came up with that thought and that thought and that vision was for you. Everybody doesn't have that same thought and vision. So if you think of something that you really, really want, don't just throw it away in your mind. Like, keep it on the forefront of your mind and think about it all the time. Sometimes we have bad thoughts, and we'll keep thinking about those bad thoughts over and over again. But when we have good thoughts, or thoughts that something great could possibly happen to us, we don't like to, we think that it's impossible, and we stop thinking about them, or we throw those ideas away, when we should be keeping those thoughts and think about those thoughts all the time, and stopping the negative thoughts in our traps. So one thing I always tell people is, like, when you're having a negative thought, like, or if you're speaking something negative, always stop yourself before you complete it. Like, start being mindful. and it'll become a thing that you just stop doing altogether, and you'll start thinking more positively.
1000%. You said a word there, Monica, and I was literally just having this conversation with one of my students today. We were so I coach wholesaling for new investors, and I was literally telling one of my students that if you don't believe that you can do it, then it's going to delay the whole process. And the main thing with believing is understanding that when you write down these goals, the reason that you have these thoughts, the reason why you have these ideas is because it's possible, right? God not going to put this thought in your head for it to just be totally out of reach. And that kind of goes back hand in hand to what you're saying is like when you have this thought, it's proof that it is for you, right? We don't get thoughts. We don't get ideas to do this business or to try this endeavor, to go to this country. We don't get these ideas if it was never meant for us in the first place. So you saying that is really just affirming it even deeper that it got to be true. Because if I'm not the only one thinking this, right, it got to be true. So I'm super excited to have you, Monica. And before we go on, my guests are letting me know that we cannot see your full, beautiful face right now. All we see right here is up here, like your nose and up. So if you could slide your camera down just a little bit, probably a little bit more, because
Oh, is that how you
yeah,
do it?
there
Oh,
we
so I
go.
could see my whole face, but okay,
Yeah,
okay, got
so
it.
so you might not be able to see this, but we are live on Facebook, and it's a little box that says Monica Clark Official. It got your name on there. It's a nice little pretty box. So it's like we both looking at each other side to side. So you good now. That's perfect. So
Okay,
if
perfect.
you can keep the camera like that, that's amazing. But for our millionaires who are just now joining us, this is the $1 Million Mind Podcast. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is the world's most trusted podcast for passion and attraction. And you're in the right place if you are here looking for money making tips to living a more passionate life in a nutshell. And you just heard a little bit from our guest for this evening, Monica Clark. She is a lifestyle and travel enthusiast. If you follow her page, you see she's always sharing these amazing, lavish places that you definitely want to try out in your lifetime. She's an influencer. And again, like I mentioned, the owner of the hair company USA. So let's dive right in, Monica, because I do want to learn a little bit more about your experiences, but not just your experiences, but more so the expectation. When you made the decision to pursue this journey of becoming an owner of your own hair salon, what was the difference between the expectation and how the journey actually went? That's what I'm very curious about. Tell us a little bit about that.
Wow, wow. So my expectation when opening up my business was that uh, like if you build it, they'll come, you
Hmm.
know, and it didn't quite work that way. So, actually, what I learned, okay, so when I first started my business, I had a very difficult time finding staff, finding workers to work at the salon. When I first started, it was just me and one other stylist. And at the time, I had 13 chairs. Now I have 20. And I didn't know like how I was going to afford the space with only one other stylist. So I had to like really, really work hard and build the clientele. And when I went to start doing hair in my own salon, I didn't have a clientele. So that was very different for me. I was building myself as a business, as a hairstylist, and I was also building my business. And I didn't realize that people prey on uh new business owners, like all types of marketing companies was, oh, we can market your company, we can, just pay us this amount of money. Oh, I can coach you. Oh, it was just every turn it was like people were just asking for money, like
Right.
outside of just like the regular bills that I had to pay. It was just it just seemed like it was just so much money. um and so and as a new business owner, you have to pay. You have to pay for your equipment and stuff inside the salon. You have to pay for your signage outside the salon, which is expensive. You have to pay for your website, your marketing, your flyers. Like it, everything costs. And I thought that going into my business that I was going to be paying for my rent and utilities. I didn't factor in. I knew I would have to pay for the furniture and stuff to furnish it, but I didn't factor in all the additional costs that it costs to run a business. So, and I was very young. I was 23 years old, so I it was like trial and error. Um,
Now, were
so
you?
that was a big
Go ahead.
expectation that no, I was just saying that was a big expectation, just the cost involved. I didn't really realize the cost that would be involved in running a business.
Got it, got it. And now, of course, going back, being very young at 23, were you like, did you start off working in other salons prior to starting your own salon? Give us a little bit of a timeline as far as like from experience. Like, I'm assuming that you started a salon because you had experience, doing these things and you were passionate about being a stylist. But have you ever had experience like working in another salon to kind of see how those things operated before?
No, I did not. So I worked one summer. I worked one summer at a hair salon being a shampoo assistant. And I wanted to learn about doing hair because I learned how to do hair and I received my cosmetology license when I was in high school. So when I got out of high school, I worked as a shampoo tech, and I wanted to learn, but I was just a shampoo tech, so they didn't want me to really elevate. They wanted me to stay shampooing, and I wanted to learn how to blow dry, how to flat iron, how to curl, but they wanted me to stay their shampoo tech, and the hair industry is very tight knit, like in terms of like industry secrets. So you can't really go to other hairstylists and ask them to teach you certain things because they keep their secret to how they do things very guarded. And when you ask, they may give you A and C, but leave B out. So they're not really going to teach you everything that they know in terms of a specific subject. So that was something that was really difficult for me. And I used to tell myself when I left from being the shampoo tech, I used to tell myself because I had such a hard time to have, because I didn't really know how to do hair. And I had such a hard time asking stylists to help me because every time I asked a stylist, oh, I'm going to teach a class soon. I'll show you when I teach my class, and the class will never come. So, and we all know how that goes. But what I ended up doing is I wanted a salon. Like when I was in high school and I was in cosmetology school, my goal and desire was to be a salon owner. But I didn't really believe that I could do it. And I definitely didn't believe that I could do it at the age that I did it in. But I had a cousin that was a very business minded person. And he told me to do it. And even him telling me to do it, I still didn't believe that I could do it. But I believed that he believed. And oh, I just borrowed his belief. So sometimes in life, people may say that you're good at certain things and you may not see it. But whenever people say you're good at things, I think you should always take it into consideration, even if you don't agree. Sometimes you should definitely take things in consideration because a lot of times people see things in you that you don't see in yourself. So I borrowed his belief, and we started looking for properties. And after we started looking for properties, we found something. And mind you, this is all when I still didn't know how to do hair. I had a license, but I really didn't know how to do hair. So we found some properties, and told me to find out how to get your business license and how to register it and everything. And so every day he would say, well, what did you do today? Or what did you do about the business today? And he just stayed on me until one day we looked up and we were signing the lease. And we were supposed to be partners. And so I didn't want to let him down. So it's funny. I never tell anybody this story, but the day after we signed the lease, he just like disappeared out of the business. Like, he just pretty much did that to make me feel like we were going to be partners, because he knew I would be comfortable being partners, but he knew I would do it on my own.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's just kind of how it went.
It
And
sounded like he was
so
a
now
mage. Like he was like
huh?
sent to you. It sounded like he was a mage. Like he was sent to you by God. Like this
Yeah.
guy just disappeared, got you started in your own business, didn't even have the experience, and here you are now with your own salon and just running things. How did
Yep.
so? All right, so that's a very ballsy move, right? So you going from it sound like shampoo tech, if I'm using that word right, to now salon owner. Um, Doing this by yourself, I'm sure you had tons of opportunities where the limiting beliefs were unreal. Like, how did you find the courage? How did you find the gall to just continue to push through these limiting beliefs, push through some of these obstacles, and find some type of solution so that you don't let this person down that really disappeared?
Um. Well, he disappeared out of like helping me with the business, but
Okay.
he didn't really, like, if I had a question, I needed him for something, he was still there. But I never really asked him for anything because I knew what he was doing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so I always would do my best to figure things out before I would actually end up needing him for anything. So, but there were times that I did have a lot of limiting beliefs. There were, and in those times actually made me a lot stronger because I didn't know how I was going to get staff. Um, Mind you, I didn't know how to do hair. I knew how to do hair enough, like just enough, but I knew how to make women feel good.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew that I mean, there were times I would, like, when I first started doing hair and they would look in the mirror and they're like, I love it. And I'm thinking, you do, but I knew if I made these women feel good, they will stick with me until I got better. So most women, you'll do someone's hair and the next day it's kind of gone anyway. So if I did someone's hair just good enough, they would probably go in the car and fix it themselves or move the part, or they would do something to their hair themselves. So, um, but they enjoyed the time that they spent with me. And I learned that early on because I couldn't really figure out, like, why are these ladies coming back? Like, but they enjoyed that I was young. I was a business owner. They probably felt bad for me. I don't know. But I just kept my clients, and they would tell their friends. And um I was specializing in hair care. So I was, teaching them that I would teach them how to grow their hair, how to make their hair healthier. So it wasn't really about the look because I knew I couldn't give them that. So I got better. I just kept, you keep doing something enough, you just get better.
Mm-hmm.
And I got better. But those were like really my limited beliefs. Like every time I would do a client, I didn't think that they were going to come back. Like that
Right.
was like my biggest limited belief. And when they came back, I was like, wow, they must really like me. So,
That's amazing. That's amazing. And it sounds like earlier on, the main thing that led to a lot of your success, Monica, was your abilities to create an experience, right? It sounds like you
mhm.
were just really good at creating an experience that made people just want to be around you, want to come back, want to continue to have that salon talk or have that salon experience. And then as you got better and better, that was just more so now an added bonus to the skills that you developed. And I heard you mention a couple times just kind of the process of like hiring staff, finding new stylists. what were some things that you learned along the way from where you were at the beginning stages of having this problem to where you are now? Did you find that it was developing like a salon culture, or was it more so just attracting them? How did you solve that problem?
So the biggest thing with hiring stylists is like retention, because sometimes, just like myself, there are other stylists that are up and coming and they want to learn. But I know that like that became like my secret weapon. Like I know that this industry is very like quiet and people don't like to teach. It's a little different now with like YouTube and Instagram, because now people want to monetize on what they know. So they'll make like a YouTube video or something like that showing what they do. Or on Instagram, they'll probably like do a video showing what they do and how they do it, because that's a way that they get other clients. But it wasn't always that way. Like we didn't have YouTube and Instagram back then. So um we probably had there probably was YouTube, but there wasn't like a lot of hair tutorials and stuff like that on YouTube back then. So um so my secret weapon was I was willing to teach up and coming stylists. So if it was new stylists that just got their license, and I would market to the hair schools to find stylists, and I knew that I would teach them what I know, because most people wouldn't, and people wanted to work with me because they had probably tried other places or tried working at other salons and people wouldn't teach them, and I would market that I would help and teach them and train them after cosmetology school, because cosmetology school only teaches you the basics. So I kind of use that to my advantage to get stylists. But the disadvantage would be that once they learn things that they know, that they move on. So I just had to have that be my understanding. And oh, I don't know what happened. Oh, I just had to have that be my understanding and know that I would have to keep revolving stylists.
That
Yeah.
makes a lot of sense. So it's like knowing the retention is just like you already have the expectations. Like they're going to come here, they're going to get what they want, and they're going to be out. And it's just more so having a process to keep stylists kind of on standby or in rotation. It sounds like. Di-
Exactly. Hmm.
so now fast forward to where now we are in this era, I guess, this time of COVID where things at first just changed drastically. Did you have to create new ways to do business after COVID first hit?
Um, yeah. So when COVID first hit, um, we were still, before they closed the salons down, other things were closing down. Like hair salons were one of the last things to close. Well, at least in my area, hair salons was one of the last things to close. So I did used to get a lot of grief because I market on Instagram. I would get a lot of grief from people saying, "Why are you all still open? People are getting COVID. You all are being a place where people can come and get COVID." You know, just different things like that. But by law, we could still be open, and by law, we were still open. And so that was a little tough because people were afraid, and people were telling us like, uh, um, you know, y'all need to shut down so we can get this over with. And the faster people stay in the house, the quicker this will be over with. You know, because this was at a time when they were saying that 2 weeks is going to be gone. If you know, if we shut down for 2 weeks, then everything will be back to normal. And so we stayed open as long as we could. And then when we closed down, there were actually still a lot of people that would send us like messages like, "Hey, can you come to my house?" Different things like that. But we never did that. We just kind of stuck it out. I started selling products online. I started selling like hair products online and things like that. But um, other than that, we just kind of stuck it out because that was around the time where they kept saying it might only, they kept giving dates, reopen dates, but
Mm-hmm.
we were expecting dates sooner than was reality. So,
Right. Right.
but as soon as we were able to open back up, they allowed us to open back up at 25%, then 50%, and then 100%. So,
Okay. That makes a lot
um,
of sense.
but yeah, but a lot of stylists didn't come back. A lot of stylists just stayed home. Like a lot of stylists, they just did their unemployment thing and loans and everything else, and a lot of stylists didn't come back.
Yeah, and I think that's the case for a lot of businesses right now, not just with stylists, just in general. People, once COVID hit, there's opportunities where people can make now money from home, and it's just people just found a way to just get by with doing no work or just less work in general, not having to leave the comfort of their home. But the reason why I asked that question was just because that was something that was just drastically new when it first hit. And so I wanted
Mm-hmm.
to kind of use that to lead into my next question, which is kind of like knowing what you know now. What was like the thought process, or what is your thought process for, when you have to jump into something new, or when you have to make these adjustments, whether it's COVID or not, whether it's, a new business endeavor or just in general, jumping into anything new. What's your thought process now?
Um, that's a good question. um, I'm really, really open to like new businesses, new ideas. Um, I would say mm, maybe like 6 months to a year ago, I was afraid though because they kept making it seem like we were going to have another shutdown. So every business venture that I wanted to do or open up another salon or whatever business venture I was thinking about, I was thinking, I might not want to do that because what if we have another shutdown? Like that was like always my thought process. Like, what if we have another shutdown? What if we have another shutdown? So that definitely, I would definitely say like crippled my business in like not doing things to my fullest potential because I was always thinking that what would I do if we have another shut? Like I survived one, and I survived one when I saw a lot of businesses not survive one. A lot of
Mm-hmm.
businesses, a lot of salons closed, a lot of other businesses closed, and I survived. So it was like I just didn't. I don't know if it was luck, but it's like I didn't want to press my luck, I guess.
Yeah.
So
And it's more so like you do it one time, that kind of builds the confidence. Like a lot of the fears and these things that come, like, oh, what if I can't do it? The limited beliefs come when we're entering something, new, and it's like
right,
it's unknown. So it's like once you get through it the first time and that unknown becomes known, then you kind of build up the confidence to where it may not have even crossed your mind. Now, what am I going to do the second time around because you did it the first time around? So
exactly.
that even makes a lot of sense. So as we starting to wrap things up, because I do want to respect your time, Monica, because I appreciate you just coming on here and just dropping some gems and telling us a little bit more about your story. If you could tell us, like, for you personally, out of your experiences, what are three keys to creating the life you desire? Being able to do the things that you want, live the life that you want, travel to the place that you want to travel. What is Monica's three keys to creating a life of desire?
Okay, three keys. One, I would say, um, take care of things as fast as you can. So if something is like if you have an email that you have to respond to, or a phone call that you have to call back, or different things like that, like get on top of things as quickly as possible so that you can leave space for the next thing. Um and you're not like piling up all these things on your plate. Like the quicker you get things done, the quicker you'll have space for new opportunities to come your way and things like that. So definitely, I would say do things quick. um I would also say try to do as many things on your to-do list that day as possible. So when you go to sleep, your mind is free. You're not thinking, "Oh, I'm supposed to do this. I'm supposed to do that. Like I didn't get this done." And, like you can sleep peacefully, and the next day, like, again, you're free to have new opportunities come your way and be able to accept new opportunities. I definitely feel like um, we have to create a space for the good that we desire. So if we don't leave space for the things that we want to come in our life, like if you people want a relationship, but they don't, their ex is still there, or these other people are still there, but they want a relationship. Like you got to get those people out the way to get the good that you desire. Or um, if you have a couch sitting somewhere, like you can't put another couch there until you move that couch. Like, and I think people don't really get that. As simple as it is, like I think people don't get that. Like people want new opportunities or new things to come in their way, to come their way, but they don't get rid of the things that are already there. Like you gotta move stuff. You want new clothes, get rid of the old clothes. Trust me, your closet will fill back up. But it's like if you don't get rid of certain things, you don't leave space and room for new things to come.
Wow.
So that would be number two. And number three would be um to just do things that you enjoy, do things that you want to do. Don't worry about how other people feel about it, or don't let other people tell you what you don't need to do, or don't let other people tell you the things that you don't need, because no one knows what you need but you. So I would definitely say, like, do what's best for you, whatever that may be, whatever makes you happy. Always do what you feel is best for you.
I love that list, and I'm gonna tell you why I love that list. It's such a strong list, and it's just I feel like you probably have been like in my journal, or you must be listening to every episode of the Million Dollar Mind podcast, Monica, because you've literally pointed out a couple things that I probably said 3, 4, 5 times, in certain episodes, where the first one, it sounds like you're saying success loves speed, not to procrastinate. If you say you're going to do something, it's focusing on how soon can I get it done without procrastination. And then with number 2, mentioning to-do list, I can't stress enough how much I think that to-do list is just such a strong way for us to start and end our day. And you're saying like getting things done on your to-do list, it does indeed, give you better sleep, because you go to sleep not only just with the peace that, okay, I got things done, but you go to sleep feeling accomplished, like checking that box off, like I got that done, I got that done. You go to sleep just already feeling accomplished. Same thing why I do to-do list in the morning. I like to start my day feeling accomplished. And the last one, doing what you love. I think that that's the one thing that I want to stress the most, because in today's society, I feel like us as people, we like to prioritize responsibility, and we like to misconstrue responsibility as doing what you are not passionate about, when really they go hand in hand. And I'm going to elaborate on that. I think that when we say, oh, I have to stick around at this job because I got bills to pay and I got people to take care of, we don't think that our responsibility is not just paying those bills, but it's finding creative ways to do what we love so that we can still live comfortably, not going to this job that we hate every single day, complaining about it every single day, just so that we can live. So I love every single one of those answers. And I think that's the best way for us to now transition to the next segment of the show as we wrap things up. So you may not know what that sound means, Monica, but our millionaires know that sound. It means that we are now up for the rapid fire, and this is sponsored by Pod Deck. So I actually have 5 random questions that have nothing to do with today's conversation.
Okay.
Just be brief, be brilliant. If you can answer it in one word or one sentence, that's amazing. But most importantly, have fun. Okay.
Okay.
Awesome. So the first question is, what would be the worst ingredients to fill a burrito with?
Um, Pineapples. Um, Strawberries and mangoes.
Pineapple, strawberry, mango burrito. Yeah, I don't think I would enjoy that either. Number two, who or where would you haunt if you were a ghost?
Wow, if I was a ghost, I would haunt. I would probably haunt uh the White House.
The White House. I'm sure they got a lot of ghosts hunting that thing already. Anyway, would you go hunt the White House?
I would haunt the White House.
All right. Number three, what makes you feel old?
Hmm. When my friends' kids like start graduating from college.
That's a good one.
Yeah, that makes
For
me
for
feel old.
me, for me, it's just seeing like people. Whenever I come across like a song that brings back nostalgia, whether it's a theme song from a '90s sitcom or something, and kids nowadays say, "Oh, that's that TikTok," and I'm just like, "No, this ain't from TikTok. This is from such and such. What are you talking about?" That's mine.
That's sweet. That is hilarious.
Number four. This is actually a good one. What is your worst roommate or house guest story?
Um, well, I wouldn't say roommate, but I went on a girls trip one time, and this girl thought that I took her Gatorade, and she was ready to fight me because she thought I took her Gatorade. So
Man,
that was like my worst. Because I didn't know any of these girls, and I was not ready to be fighting girls on a girls trip out of town.
especially not over no Gatorade. I would have called her Eve the whole rest of the trip, fighting over some apple juice.
Right, right. That's how it made me feel. But people, when people can't find something, a lot of people automatically think you stole it. Like, you know,
It's not their responsibility. Somebody else is responsible for me
yeah, it's got to be
misplacing
somebody
this.
else, yeah, doing something to them. Yep.
All right. Number five, we have, if everything in your house had to be one color, what color would you choose?
Yellow.
Yellow.
Hmm.
It's a very, very vibrant color. Very vibrant color.
Yep.
All right. Well, that is it for our rapid fire and your final five, Monica. I appreciate you being brief, brilliant, and having fun with that. And as we wrapping things up, we come into the closing questions, and it's just two more questions here. And this next one is to have some more fun, right? If you could give us a red pill versus blue pill scenario, what would it be? What's the red pill? What's the blue pill? Lay it on us.
Red pill, blue pill. So in terms of what though? What's in red pill, blue pill
The
versus
ball is
what?
in your court. So what I'm actually gonna do is we're gonna take this one. I'm gonna put it on the post on Twitter. I'm gonna put it on the Facebook. I'm gonna put it on the Instagram, and I'm gonna let people literally vote for which one they will take. And I'm gonna let us know, like, hey, Monica came with us with this nice blue pill, red pill scenario. Which one you picking? So the ball's in your court.
Okay. Would you rather date a guy that treats you good but doesn't have any money, or a guy that has a lot of money but doesn't treat you good?
That's a very good scenario. So I'm assuming the red pill is treat you really good with no money, and the blue pill is treat you poorly with a lot of money.
Exactly.
All right. Well, y'all heard it here. I'm going to drop that in the Facebook group. I'm gonna make that poll. If you guys are listening to this later on YouTube, I am gonna put this on our Twitter account as well, and that's at THEMDM_pod. So make sure y'all go vote. This one for the ladies, right? I'm gonna make this one for the ladies. I'm not even gonna make it co-ed. I want to specifically know what the ladies are going to pick. So ladies, go ahead, make sure y'all vote. Join the Facebook group or vote on Twitter. But I love that red pill, blue pill scenario, Monica. And then this last question for you is, you're walking down the street and you just magically run into 18-year-old Monica. What is some advice you would give your 18-year-old self?
Some advice that I would give myself is to um not wait on other people to make me happy. I would definitely say not wait on other people to make me happy. That happiness is definitely an inside job. Work on being happier just by yourself. um, and um, just be fearless, be bold, and be fearless.
Be bold and be.
Brilliant. Yep.
I love that one.
And like invest in your education, invest in your mindset.
That one is key as well. That one is key as well. You can be bold, you can be fearless all you want, but if you're not investing in that mindset and that education, then it's like you're not growing really. So I'm going to put that at the top of my list personally.
And the last one, it will be one more, and that would be to ask for help. That's what it would be. It would be for ask for help. If you need help, ask for help.
If you need help, ask for help. I love it. I love it. Well, Monica, I appreciate you for dropping these gems on us and just being yourself and being an amazing guest. And finally, I can welcome you officially to the $1 Million Mind community. We appreciate you and just everything that you're bringing to the table, and continue to do the great things that you are doing. So now I want to give you the space to now plug yourself in. Tell us a little bit more where we can find you. I know you mentioned a lot about, educating and helping other stylists get started. If you offer any mentorship to, aspiring stylists out there who also want to start their own salons, we would love to hear where we can find you, how we can, reach out to you, and just some special things that you're excited about.
Okay. So, my personal Instagram page is Monica Clark Official on Instagram. Clark with no E. And my business page is The Hair Company USA on Instagram.
Awesome. And so with that being said, Monica, I do want to, take this time out again to just give my, greatest gratitude. And I hope that from this, our millionaires who are inspired by everything that you have going on, take this as an opportunity to, to want to connect with you and build out that village. We're huge fans of just, building out and relying on that village. It takes a village to be able to get to our goals, because as they say, your net worth is your network. So again, I appreciate you for tapping in with us. And as always, to our millionaires, I'm super thankful to have you all a part of the show week in, week out. And thanks in advance for becoming the change agents that you're bound to become as you apply the principles that you heard today. Now, with that being the case, if you truly felt motivated and moved and you really resonated with this episode, as I want to even stress even more, I truly encourage you all to tap in with Monica Clark and really just get a chance to know a little bit more about her journey extensively outside of this episode. Connect with her and see if there's ways that you can bring value to her if you want her to bring value to you, right? Because it's a give take. We're not here to just do charity. We're not here to, just expect people to give, because at the end of the day, as humans, we were not created to give. We were created to create. So let's create some opportunities to bring value to each other. And with that being said, I'm your guy, Kai Speaks. You just heard from Monica Clark on ways to really embrace that ability of yours to manifest and create. Just remember to keep focused, build momentum, and drive results so you can live abundantly.